Hey guys, and welcome to Rough Gear Review. Today we're having a look at the M21 Reflex sight from Meprolight. Now we picked up this Tavor quite a while back, and we immediately knew we were going to put this M21 on it. This is the optic that's used by the IDF. This of course is a IDF weapon. This is made by IWI, and we wanted to keep it as close to kind of all Israeli products as we could on this. The only thing we didn't was this light we have on it right now, but I bet you in the future we change that out to something used by the Israelis. But other than that, we've been trying to keep it all Israeli. And when it comes to this optic, we've been really happy with it. We've taken this to around a ton of times. This is actually one of my favorite rifles to take out and shoot. And of course, we haven't had any problems with this reflex sight at all. One quick little note. You know, everybody likes military products, and I do too. I'm no different. I normally gravitate towards something that's used by our militaries, and that's because I know it's going to cost me a little bit more, but it's probably going to last me the rest of my life, especially considering we review guns and we shoot for fun, so we're not really, beating them too bad. We do kind of bang our stuff around quite a bit, but aren't battlefield conditions. So if optics like this are good enough for the military, then they're more than good enough for us. And it means most likely it's going to last us a lifetime. I'll probably never have to replace any of the optics that we have on any of our weapons here in the inventory because we use pretty much all military grade stuff. Now, on that note, I think a lot of people tend to forget that the U.S. military is not the only military out there. There obviously are a lot of militaries out there, and they're not all using American-made products. And it's not necessarily that American-made products are the best products out there. We make some awesome stuff. There's no argument there. Trijicon, Aimpoints, EOTechs, everybody knows those are top quality products. But there are other companies out there that are making optics or other gear for different militaries, and some of their stuff is as good, if not better, than some of the stuff that we have here. So that's where this comes in. And this is probably catching on a little bit more now because this Tavor is so popular. And everybody's kind of looking over to see, what the Israelis are doing. Obviously before they had M4, same thing that we were using. But, they have some different equipment. And also, one thing with Israeli military is they use stuff until it basically falls apart on them, which is, great. They're not just trading it in because there's something new coming out. They use their equipment as long as it takes until that thing falls apart and is no longer functioning. When we talk to Dylan Saunders, and you're going to see him later on in this video, he even makes the point that, a lot of those guys in the IDF have really old Meprolights on their weapons because they use them until they fall apart, and they don't fall apart. So on this one here, we'll go over some features, and we'll show you some other video of this. Now, one thing, if you are buying a Tavor and you're going to put this on, one nice thing you'll notice is that this is going to co-witness with your flip-up sights, and it co-witnesses perfectly. And that was nice. Another interesting thing is, got this Meprolight the M21, and I think I had to do like one click to zero this thing in. My understanding from Dylan Saunders is that these are zeroed at the factory, and they're pretty close when you put them on your weapon. Like I said, I think I maybe turned one or two clicks and she was dead on, and that was kind of a nice thing. We'll go over some features of this real quick. So this is a passive sight. This does not use batteries. This is going to use fiber optics or tritium. The tritium is very dim. It's only used in really low light situations. But most of the time, it's using this fiber optics to collect the light and illuminate the sight. They use an amber dot in here, or kind of an orange color dot. And one of the reasons is it's because this is passive. So it's not using batteries. And the amber or the orange color is much more efficient when you're not using batteries. And actually later on in the video you're going to hear a little bit more about that. One thing this sight does kind of remind me of is we have a couple of Trijicon reflex sights. And they have two different ones, and they're different sizes. But the larger one really reminds me of this a lot, and it's also completely passive, and it also uses an amber or an orange color dot. Another thing on this, you would notice there's a tint, like a blue tint on the front here. Not sure if you can see that in the camera. But that helps it in really bright conditions in the desert. And obviously, that's where the Israelis are fighting. They're in a desert environment. So, this optic was made for them. It's finding its way over here. But it does work really, really well. We do most of our shooting out in a desert environment or in kind of high mountain environments, kind of high desert. And there's days, especially in the summertime, it's really bright out there. And I can always see with this optic perfectly. And that's kind of nice. One thing with these passive sights is, if you're indoors and you're aiming at a target that's outside, you'll get a washout effect because, like I said, this takes in the ambient light through the fiber optics, and that's what illuminates the dot. So if you're inside of a dark building, there's not a lot of light. It could be just the tritium is on and illuminating this. And looking outside through a door in a really bright, say a desert kind of environment, there's a bit of a washout, so you might not see it. Now, you can look it up. They have some devices that are washout units, or I'm not really sure what they call them, but they attach it here, and that's supposed to take care of the problem. We haven't tried one out yet. We're going to look around for one, see if they do work or don't work. When it comes to this optic, this is going to have a 30 millimeter lens on it. Gives you a really big field of view. It's really easy to do, both eyes open shooting with this. You're always kind of right on target. Pretty nice. The group that does this, so Mako Group imports it. They also import stuff from Fab Defense, CAA. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those, but those are all Israeli companies. And if you do have a Tavor and you look at your magazine that comes with it, it's going to say IWI, made in the USA. It's an identical magazine to the CAA magazine that's made in Israel. It's just marked differently here for the ones that come with this in the US. A couple other things. This optic is designed to you can use it with a magnifier. Meprolight has their magnifier, which is the MX3, mounts right behind it. Very similar setup to what you've seen with some EOTechs with a magnifier behind them. And we'll get our hands on one of those pretty soon, and we'll try that out for you guys. This also has some optional reticles that you can order it with. So the one that we have on this is just the dot. I prefer that. It's kind of what I like. But you can also get it with an open X, a bullseye, or even a triangle. So they have like 4 options. Just depends on what you like. I know some of the guys here like the triangles. I just happen to like the dots. So that's what we got on this. A couple other things. One thing you'll see in this video that they talk about is how this is built. That not only is it held together with an adhesive, but everything's screwed together. It's insulated. It's not going to be affected by heat, especially if you're maybe on a different platform than this Tavor. But if it's close to the barrel and you're shooting all day and going to town, you don't want that heat to affect it. So it's super durable and it won't fall apart on you. And I got to tell you, we've been shooting this thing a lot and using this optic a lot, and it's been great. This particular one is a quick release, and actually in the video, we were lucky enough out at SHOT Show this year to talk with Dylan Saunders. Now he's the regional manager for the Mako Group, and like I said before, they're the ones that import all this stuff in here. And this guy had just a ton of knowledge about this optic, and we were really lucky to get a chance to interview him. Problem is, during the interview, it was the first day of SHOT Show, and we had a big problem with our shotgun mic. For some reason, it was malfunctioning, and it was cutting off all the sound. Matter of fact, we were at Media Day at the range, and you could just barely hear anything because the shotgun mic wasn't working. So we ended up that first day, we didn't have another shotgun mic yet, so we had to use just the microphone that's in the camera. I'm going to totally apologize in advance here to you guys. The interview with Dylan Saunders is great. I'm telling you, this guy's got tons of great information on this optic. Unfortunately, you're going to hear a ton of background noise. We were forced to use the mic that's just on the camera, and that mic unfortunately just picks up everything. Now, if you bear with it and you listen, you can hear him clearly. The first couple seconds you listen to this part of the video, you're going to hear so much background noise. Hopefully it doesn't bug you too much, and you do listen to the whole interview. The guy, like I said, he was extremely knowledgeable about these optics, and he gave us a lot of really good info. A lot of stuff that I didn't know about the optic, and I was pretty impressed with all of his knowledge. Of course, that's his job, and that was nice that he took the time out to talk to us. So this is the M21 Reflex sight from Meprolight. I hope you guys will keep watching the video, and you'll watch this next part coming up with the interview with Dylan Saunders. I definitely think you'll get some good information out of it, especially if you're wondering about this optic and you're in the market to buy one. I don't think you'll be upset with it. I think you'll be really happy picking this up, especially if you have a Tavor. That's the way to go. There's a couple other optics that Meprolight has also. They've been around since 1990, and they got quite an extensive line. They also do thermal and laser rangefinders and night vision, as well as optics. So it's a good company, and they've been around a long time, and their stuff is proven. And more importantly, for a lot of people, it's battle proven. So this is stuff that the IDF is using. It's not going to fail you if you're out just sport shooting and having fun. Maybe once in a while you drop your gun on its optic. This thing's going to last you the rest of your life. I think you'll be happy with it. So please bear with the sound. Hopefully you guys watch the rest of this video. And next year we'll try to get another interview with Dylan Saunders. And we promise we'll make sure we have a spare shotgun mic just in case that happens again. Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching Rough Gear Review. Hope you enjoy the rest of this video.
It's a Meprolight M21 sight. The M21 sight is a standard issue IDF sight. The M21 is a passive sight. There's no batteries, there's no switches, there's no moving parts inside the sight. So the sight is always on. When you pick it up, it's ready to go. You've got a reticle. You don't have to worry about batteries being dead. You don't have to worry about any electronics inside being damaged. It's just going to work. It's a very simple system. It's a very rugged system. The thing is tough. If you look at pictures of Israeli soldiers, you'll see M21 sights have been on the rifles for years. They're just beat to pieces. The metal's all mushroomed and dented, and the sights still work. Really, really good, tough sights. It's a standard reflex sight. Meprolight was the first company to develop a reflex sight for CQB use. And since that time, they built a number of different models. The M21 is now the standard model that's illuminated by ambient light during the daytime using fiber optic collector system, and by tritium in total darkness. It's a mil-spec night vision compatible sight. These are the sights that ship on all of the Tavors. And this sight is used in desert environments. So the sight is designed to have a very, very visible reticle, and even in bright light type environments and things like that often are difficult for reflex sights. The standard mount for the M21 is a Picatinny quick release mount. It's adjustable, so that if you have a rail that's a little bit out of spec, and we find that a lot of rails are a little bit out of spec, either a little bit too loose, a little bit too tight, you can either tighten or loosen the nuts on the far side of the mount to change the amount of pressure you need to use to lock the sight on, or if your rail is undersized, to keep it from moving on the rail. The other thing that you can do with this is, for a lot of law enforcement agencies, they don't like quick release stuff because they find that their officers sit in the patrol car and flip it all day long until it wears out, or until they take it off and they lose it, and then they need the rifle, they don't have a sight. So for a law enforcement agency, they can mount this sight on, latch the quick release mounts, and just tighten those things down, and you will not be able to quick release it.
Now, is that standard issue for the IDF?
It is standard issue for the IDF. If you look at pictures of IDF soldiers, the majority of the sights being used in the IDF are the M21. One thing you'll notice about the IDF is they don't make something obsolete and replace it. If it still works, they still use it. So you'll see a combination of sights. There's sights that they weren't just happy with, but because they bought them and because they still work, they're still on the rifles. You still see pictures of IDF soldiers with the older Meprolight Reflex sights, the smaller ones, because they're still working and they still use them. And that's why you'll see the M21s that are just beat to pieces and they still function. Cold doesn't affect this sight, heat doesn't affect this sight. One of the great things about this sight, when you're using on an AR platform, is you have something with optics called thermal cycling. And what that means is every optic has a rating for how hot you can get that sight, and the sight will still work. But if you heat that sight a quarter of that much and cool it, and heat it and cool it, and heat it and cool it over and over again, then the glues, the adhesives that hold the sight together start to fail. The electronics start to fail. They can't handle the thermal cycling. On an AR or an M16, M4, one of the problems with that weapon system is not a problem for the weapon at all. But it's a problem for optics mounted on it is that the receiver gets hot. And so for certain units, like Special Forces types units, that do a lot of shooting, a lot of training where they're shooting a lot of rounds in a short amount of time, often they're heating their optics, the optics cool, and the optics fail. And one of the reasons why they've looked for other weapon systems besides the M4 is not because there was anything wrong with the M4, but because the M4 was killing their optics. Because of the design of this sight, the heat doesn't destroy it. This sight's not held together only by adhesives, but also by everything being threaded together. So the sight is first of all assembled in a way that protects it against heat damage, and it's also built in a way that is insulated from the heat. So the top portion of the sight doesn't heat up like other sights do. The sight, the adjustment on the sight is between the base and the sight itself. If you push on the sight, you can actually see some movement. Right? It moves down, it springs back into place. What you're seeing is exactly the same system that any optic has, except in this optic is able to be made much, much larger and much, much more robust. On most sights, you're actually moving small elements inside the sight. Parts of the sight are being moved the same way. You have an elevation screw is opposed by a spring. The spring holds your whatever component inside the sight is moving is held up by the spring, and then the screw pushes it down to adjust it. With this sight, moving it between the base and the sight makes it much, much stronger. It makes it so there are no moving sight parts inside the sight. The bases are zeroed to the sight at the factory, and every one of these sights I've ever mounted on an AR rifle has been within an inch or two of being zeroed from the box.
I have a question. Here we see a lot of sights that are red dots. This is amber.
Yes.
Is there a reason you guys went with the amber on that?
Yes. Red is a very inefficient color for use in a reflex sight. So if you're using electricity to illuminate it, you can bump up the amount of power you're using to illuminate that reticle, and you can use the red. The amber is the most efficient color to use, and so when you're using a passive system like this, where you're illuminating the sight through fiber optics, you can get a much better illumination with it's not really an amber, it's more of an orange color on these sights. So it's a little bit more orange than some of the other reflex sights that have the tan or amber color. And you'll also see the sight has a little bit of a tint to it, a blue tint. And what that does is if you happen to be in an environment that tends to be very orange, like a desert environment at certain times and stuff like that, that blue tint is going to make your reticle still stand out against a background that's similar in color.
So we appreciate you taking the time.
No problem.
Thank you.